So I did a video a bit ago. It's like, oh, you don't always need drone. And while that gets the point across, I thought it'd be better if I could give you some examples. So here we go. Um, there's the different types of drones. So the way I offer it in packages is you have the full drone, so you get 10 photos, and then a mini drone, and that's like four, and then just a single one. Um, you can see the prices on the website. Um, but which kind of package goes when, and when don't you want it at all? That's kind of what I want to go over here. So the most obvious ones is when you have a property that's on the lake. And I know people from down in this corner of Wisconsin, we say the lake. We mean Lake Michigan, and everything else is a lake or the lake in its name. Um, I even gave guy directions once, and I must have said the lake, and he went left when he should have went right, and then he's down by the lake. He's giving me a call. He's like, "Well, I'm here. I'm looking at the lake. I don't see this place." And to my defense, the place was in Indiana, so maybe he should have known better. But that's how entrenched that is. So if you have a property on the lake, um, I don't have them right here, but I'm going to pop them up in the video. Um, there's this one. There's a condo up in Racine, right on the right on the lake, with the balcony overlooking the lake. I mean, screams drone all day long. That's an easy one. And here you can see the views from the lake towards the condo and the surroundings. You get the whole area, and it really shows off that property. Another one down in here in Kenosha, and it's a commercial space, and you can see, the marina, you can see the lighthouse, you know, everything that's happening is right there. You can see the trolley lines, you can see it all. And those ones are really easy. You're like, I got a property here, I'm going to get drone, right? And then you have the other ones that are near a lake, right? For instance, there's this one in Mount Pleasant, beautiful custom home, and it's a semi-private lake or private lake. There's really no access unless you live there. And then they have their own lakefront. They got a beach. Everybody in the whole neighborhood has paddle boats or kayaks or something to get out on the water. And you have this beautiful view. And if you wanted the lakeside shot, you might get away with a really tall tripod, maybe. Okay. But you're still not going to have the same view as you would like this, because the drone can go out and get that nice wide view, and then you can get and here's a twilight of the same property, shows you off, shows off the property, the fireplace, the whole lighting arrangement that they have. Really beautiful. Um, you also have one, um, oh, and I kind of skipped, but you also have one here in Paddock Lake that's a really nice property. It's not on the lake, but it's just a couple blocks away. And you can see where it's situated, you can see the neighborhood, and people can see what their neighbors are going to be like, and just the general ambiance of the property before they even set foot on it. Going back to the lake, here's one that's just a block away. You have a beautiful home. From your back porch, you can actually see Lake Michigan, and it's beautiful home, beautiful view. You're a block, and the short side block from the lake. Beautiful parks right there, just great, right? And then when again, you're right there for all the downtown festivities. especially 4th of July. You don't have to go anywhere. You just look up, right? Um, and then going back to near a lake. Um, so yeah, well, kind of skipping around here, but that's all right. Okay. So, and then you have uh, large properties with a lot of land, outbuildings. Here's a couple examples of like farmette kind of deals. One in Kansasville, and there's outbuildings, a chicken coop, uh, a corral, I guess it would be, for your horses. They had horses there. Really curious. They wanted all animals want to be famous, so they always got to get in your shot. Um, Nice, beautiful property, you know, and again, that's going to be drone. And then here's another one down in Spring Grove, Illinois. I know I said the I word. I can feel the spirit of Charlie Barron's staring daggers at me there, eh? But down here in Spring Grove, beautiful property, outbuildings. You can stable your horses there, and it was huge. I think it was 2 5-acre parcels ish, uh, just off the top of my head. I don't know the specifics of it. But these kind of properties, they're better showcased. You get a different aspect. You can show the whole area. You can show the relation to the lakes, because down there you've got the whole chain of lakes, like you have up here in the county, and you can really show off that property and draw in more people that are going to look at that property and want to live in an area like that. If you just show shots of the house, you're gonna be like, oh, that's nice. Oh, it's over there. But what does it really look like? But then, that picture, 1,000 words, and then let alone if you do video, eh? Right? So then there's another one, not livestock land, but huge lot out in Burlington. And you can see, the beautiful neighborhood, nice space. And this home, just well finished, huge garage, all these things. And you can see all of that in your drone shots. And then you're going to draw a whole lot more potential buyers in with that, which is making you money. You're spending a little, getting a higher return, and then you can show your clients, I'm worth it. Not me, but you, the realtor, is worth it because this is the kind of service that you're providing. And I'm just part of your team that does that for you, right? So I make able to hit the easy button, get these things in there, and then get them done. Then sometimes you have homes that, maybe because of the price point, things are tight right now, whatever the reasoning, and they're not screaming out like that. They might be near a lake, but it's a couple blocks away, whatever you have. And here's one in Silver Lake that's like that. It's down the street from Silver Lake, but it's down the street. And it's a nice home, not a huge price point. Um, the finishes inside are more than adequate to sell the property. But then you want that little bit. You're like, well, if you do the lake, you can do like a nice wide shot and show where it is in relation to the lake. And then you could do another one, and I call them like a shoulder shot. You see right here, especially ones with big trees in the front yard. This is great because then you can kind of peek over the tree and see the property, and you see the front and the backyard. You see the expanse of the lot, because usually this is a lot kind of deal, where you're just picking and choosing just a few shots. And then a top-down shot like this, where you can show the property lines, and then that way you show off the property. You'd spend a little bit, and you kind of balance that with your return, And then you have other ones where maybe you only need one. I had this one in Mount Pleasant, and this one, even if you put the drone right above it, straight down, there's so many trees, you cannot see a stitch of this property, right? It looks really cool down there. You know, you have nice filtered green light. Um, it's almost like magical or something. But you couldn't see the house. So doing that top down, doing the shoulder one, you're not going to get that. The best you're going to get is from the street, and then you've got the trees coming down, and then the power lines, and then you're not going to see anything much, and then it's kind of a flight hazard trying to get right in there. And the last thing you want to do is put a drone in power lines, right? So, but the realtor wanted to show like where it's at, and it was a nice place, a little bit over in South, Durant, or by Regency. So I was like, well, you want the mall side or you want like towards the lake? So we went towards the lake, showed the property down in the corner, and then you can see the whole neighborhood, and dropped a little location pin on top of the house so you know where the property is, and then how it is in relation to the lake. Like you're going to have to drive to get down there, but you can see the lake, not a lake, right? And then you can see the whole neighborhood and what you're looking to get into there. And then you can go through the property and see how they finished the living room, the basement. You know, we even joked how the Busch Light sign is what put them over the top to sell the house, right? So, and then you have other ones that if you're on the fence, you know, it's kind of, you know, a smaller home. Maybe it's just a flipper. Um, it's in a neighborhood where, you know, you have neighbors who aren't, you know, maintaining their yard, or maybe there's a lot of construction. You know, somebody's doing the roof right next door, whatever you have, where you're like, well, you know, it's going to be hard to use the drone to make it look good. Those you don't really need drone. Although most of the time I'll recommend at least some, you know, but I'm a little biased. Um, but those are the kind of ones where if it's going to be hard to imagine where the drone would make it look better, then it's probably not going to make it look better. We're kind of fortunate here where a lot of the properties you can show the proximity to the lake and other places like schools and parks. And sometimes it's better not to, you know, like if everything around it is still being built up or whatever, you can be like, well, you know, hey, let's do the property and then just do ground shots of like some community stuff, you know, like the park over here and stuff, and add that to it rather than do the drone, because, you know, half of the subdivision is still under construction or whatever you have. Another one where you definitely want property is vacant land. Because then there you have where the ground shots really don't cover it, but then drone, you can see all of it. Here's one I did up by Babcock. It comes under so many. I think the actual address is Wisconsin Rapids, but it's the town of Dexter, 240 acres, really beautiful property. And if you're going to traipse around there with a tripod and try to show something, you're just going to have pictures of a bunch of trees. So what we did was a couple of shots of the entrances to the property, because there's like two different ways to get in, like easements, and then overview, and I did a little video and all that, and you know, you can actually see the whole property. And then you can do things like with the property lines like this and show the extent and where the property sits. A lot of ums in there. And then here's another one that's down in Twin Lakes in a subdivision, but it's great because you can actually see where your house would be and then how it's situated. And you do a mixture of ground and aerial with those. That way you can see it from our perspective, and then you can see it from a bird's eye view, and then put those together. So I hope that helps a bit with, not just like, hey, buy my drone, I know, especially with the market being the way it is and NAR and the whole rigmarole, you need to justify what you're doing, not just to your clients, but to yourself. And I'd rather have you say, hey, this one could use drone, or, I'm kind of on the fence with the drone. What could you do at this spot? Because I'm here to help you make your job easier, for one, and two, make you more money. Okay. If your photography is an investment in your brand and it doesn't make you money while you're sleeping, then you need different and better photography. That's what I'm here for. So if you have any questions, I'd love to talk to you about it. You have a property where you're on the fence about it. Even if you're not going to use me, hit me up. I'll talk to you anyway. And we'll help you get the kind of media that you need and that, frankly, you deserve.